The room was silent except for the soft scratch of a pen on paper. At first, nothing about the pen seemed unusual. It was black, slightly heavier than most, with a silver clip worn smooth by years of use. The kind of pen you might find forgotten in a desk drawer or tucked into the inside pocket of an old coat. But the man holding it had already discovered what made it different. Daniel sat alone at his kitchen table at 2 in the morning, staring at the page in front of him. Outside, rain tapped softly against the windows, the kind of steady rhythm that made the night feel deeper, heavier. He looked at the words he had written. "I never met her." He read the sentence again. His heart pounded as he reached for his phone. His contact list scrolled under his thumb, but the name he had been searching for wasn't there. Emily. Gone. Every photo of her had vanished from his camera roll. Their messages were gone. The pictures from the beach, the cafe where they first met, the blurry late-night selfies, erased as if they had never existed. Daniel leaned back slowly in his chair. 3 minutes ago, Emily had been part of his life. Then he wrote a sentence, and now she had never existed in it. He stared at the pen again, his pulse racing. It had started earlier that evening, completely by accident. Daniel worked as a catalog archivist in a small museum. His job was quiet, repetitive, and usually uneventful. Most days were spent labeling artifacts no one visited anymore, objects from forgotten lives that slowly faded into dust. That afternoon, while sorting through a donation box from a recently closed antique shop, he found the pen. It was inside a small wooden case lined with faded velvet. No brand name, no price tag, just the pen and a folded note that looked decades old. The paper was yellow and brittle. The handwriting on it was elegant but slightly shaky. "Write carefully, the past listens." Daniel had when he read it. Some antique shop gimmick, he thought. A dramatic little message meant to make an ordinary object feel mysterious. Still, the pen wrote beautifully. The ink flowed smoothly, dark and precise. He slipped it into his pocket and forgot about it. Until that night. He had been sitting at his kitchen table journaling like he often did after long days. Just small reflections, nothing important. He wrote about work, about the rain, about the strange note that came with the pen. Then, almost jokingly, he wrote a sentence. "I never spilled coffee on my boss this morning." He paused, then he laughed to himself, because that morning he absolutely had spilled coffee on his boss. It had been embarrassing. The memory was crystal clear, the shocked look, the apologies, the awkward silence in the office afterward. But when he thought about it again, something felt wrong. He frowned. The memory blurred, not gone, just uncertain. He stood up slowly and checked his shirt hanging on the chair nearby. The one he had worn to work that day. No coffee stain. His chest tightened. He checked his phone next. No message from his boss joking about the incident. No coworker comments, nothing. The moment had simply disappeared. Daniel stared at the notebook. Then he tested it again. He wrote another sentence. "I took the bus to work today." Immediately, a strange pressure filled his head, like the world shifting slightly out of place. Suddenly, he could remember standing in the rain at a bus stop that morning. The cold air, the crowded bus, the driver's tired expression. Except, he also remembered driving his car. Both memories existed at the same time for a few seconds. Then one of them dissolved. The bus ride remained. His car keys felt unfamiliar in his hand. That was the moment Daniel realized the pen didn't change the present. It rewrote the past. Now, hours later, sitting in the dim kitchen light, the realization still made his hands shake. He looked at the empty page again. How far could this go? He hesitated. Then slowly, carefully, he wrote, "I graduated at the top of my class." A sharp pulse moved through his skull. Images flooded his mind. Late night studying, professors praising his work, a graduation ceremony where his name was called first. He remembered walking across the stage while people applauded. Except that had never happened. Until now. Daniel laughed under his breath. The sound was half disbelief, half excitement. This pen wasn't just rewriting mistakes. It could reshape his entire life. He could fix every regret, every missed opportunity, every wrong turn. He wrote again. "I invested early in a successful tech company." Suddenly, he remembered signing paperwork years ago. A small investment, a risky decision that turned into millions. His phone buzzed. A banking notification appeared on the screen. Balance updated, 7 figures. Daniel stared at the number, his breath shallow. Reality had rearranged itself around a single sentence. The power in his hand was terrifying and intoxicating. Over the next hour, he wrote more. Small things at first. "I learned to speak fluent French." Instantly, the language filled his mind like it had always been there. "I traveled across Europe." Now he remembered cities he had never seen before. Train rides, sunsets over old rooftops. His life expanded with every sentence. But something strange began happening. The more he wrote, the more difficult it became to remember which memories were real. Childhood stories blurred, events overlapped. Entire years of his life felt unstable, like a house built on shifting ground. Daniel paused and rubbed his temples. He realized something unsettling. Every time the past changed, the present adjusted to match it. People behaved differently. His apartment looked slightly different. His email inbox had new conversations. The world wasn't simply accepting the new memories, it was rebuilding itself around them. Then curiosity pushed him one step further. He wrote a sentence he had been afraid to try. "I never experienced fear." For a moment, nothing happened. Then the world became quiet. Too quiet. Daniel blinked slowly. The pounding anxiety in his chest vanished. His mind felt calm, cold, logical. He looked at the rain outside the window and realized something terrifying. Without fear, consequences meant nothing. Danger meant nothing. He stared at the pen in his hand. And for the first time that night, he wondered if the note in the box had been less of a warning and more of a rule. Write carefully, the past listens. Daniel looked down at the notebook again. The page waited patiently, empty. But suddenly he felt the strange sense that something else was listening too. Something older than the pen. Something that had been watching every sentence he wrote. Because the past wasn't just a collection of memories, it was the foundation of reality. And Daniel had started rewriting it like a rough draft. He slowly turned the pen between his fingers. Then he realized the most dangerous sentence hadn't been written yet. Not about money, not about success, but about something far bigger. Because if the pen could change the past, what would happen if someone wrote a sentence about the future? Daniel hesitated. Then he lowered the pen to the page.